He posted a film from 1929 New York City. And he didn't post any text with it. And this obviously is when he says "Make America Great Again." This is the great America. This is the lost America, the America that was happening when people talked about how great America was. And this is like post World War I, pre-World War II. So, we were going to get a little greater, but it's the population. The U.S. was overwhelmingly white back then. And even the major cities were overwhelmingly white. And it just looks nicer. It just looks more welcoming, cleaner, and I don't know, a little nostalgia, I guess, for people that are almost 100 years old. But here it is. Let's look at 1929 New York City. Little Rascals music. Hey, doll. Still wearing those hats. Look for the man with the white carnation and the derby. Yeah, the men would have like carnations. Look how organized everyone is. You caught me in line. Oh. It's the older guys that wear the big top hats, because they got the cane and they're like, hur, hur, hur. But I think if I was alive back then, don't make any jokes. If I was an adult back then, don't make it. I would probably have opted for the fedora. I like the fedora look. I think derbies look kind of silly. And the top hat, that was already going out of style back then. Even though I think JFK wore one of those during his inauguration when they walked down Pennsylvania Avenue, I think. I think it was, he wore one of those top hats. And that was early 60s. But they look kind of stupid. And didn't that go with like Lincoln? Didn't Lincoln wear one of those? Another one of those coincidence between Lincoln and Kennedy. The hat. Kennedy should have had a big top hat with steel plating in it in Dallas. Maybe that would have helped. But yeah, I think a fedora would have been like the cool hat. Indiana Jones type hat. But then they had like carnations on them and a pocket hanky and tie and jacket. And that's how people went out. That's how you were supposed to go to work and everything. Yeah, there he is. See, he's wearing one of those. Here, try to shoot this hat off my head. I dare you. I dare you. Is that Eisenhower next to him? And it looks like Garrett from the booth, the third guy down, was at the inauguration. Time machine. Jerry Lewis, the next guy in line. Yeah, the top hat. Era. Ask not for a bulletproof hat. All right. Yeah, there you go. JFK wore one during his inauguration. How'd that work out for him? So, Trump posted that, and everybody was like, oh, yeah, things were better, weren't they? Things were a little better. And then we got Trump. Where is he? Where is he? Oh, talking about, he had a bunch of quotable things. I didn't pull them all. But I found this very funny. He was talking about Kim Jong-un, of course, North Korean president / dictator. And he hasn't really been heard from. During the Biden administration, he was all the time, he was saber rattling and talking about his missiles and testing his missiles. And then Trump gets in there and he's been pretty quiet. He's been pretty chill, as they say. So Trump was talking about him, and he brought up Joe Biden at the same time. And this is the wackiness that I'm talking about. But it's great. It's pure Trump still, even though it's wacky. It's something Trump would say. I don't think he'd go this far years ago. Like years ago, I don't think he'd have gone this far with the language and the implication. But let's watch. It's funny.
To protect us from Kim Jong-un, who I get along with very well, as you know. Do you notice he said very nice things about me? He used to call Joe Biden a person, okay? So don't tell me about your stuff. Joe Biden, he said he's a mentally person. He was so nasty to Joe Biden. It was terrible. But to me, he likes Trump. And do you notice how nice things are with North Korea? It's very nice. But we have 45,000 people, soldiers, in harm's way, and right next to Kim Jong-un with a lot of nuclear weapons. 45, which should have never happened.
Holy shit. He calls him mentally not good, very bad. He insults Joe Biden by repeating what Kim Jong-un allegedly said. He might not have ever said that. He probably didn't say that. like, oh, Joe Biden is whatever word they use in North Korean. And then, the translator probably said, it's kind of like, it's their kind of word for somebody's a little slow. And then he's just like, Kim Jong-un called him a dumb mind. I just think that's so funny twice. And then he goes, it's terrible. It's terrible. You shouldn't call. And you just did it. Like I do this. I use that strategy all the time. Oh, what is he saying? He called you a blithering idiot. That's not very nice. You just called him a blithering idiot yourself. So it's one of Trump's tactics. Very funny. But to use the R word, I think before Trump leaves office, we might actually hear an out of our president, Donald Trump. Could happen. Where my it might happen. I don't know. I do not know. But he's been big. Some big stories. I didn't really want to cover them ad nauseum today, but a couple of pilots were shot down over Iran, and then there was a big rescue mission, and the U.S. lost a few aircraft, but the personnel all got out. A couple of injuries, but nothing crazy. And now, of course, there are conspiracy theories floating that this was not pilots that were shot down. This was an operation consisting of a lot of American soldiers because it was near a nuclear facility. And the speculation by a lot of these people that don't believe the government, which I'm not saying you should believe the government, but this is their latest foray into governmental conspiracy theories, is that these aircraft went in, a lot of special ops guys got out, performed a mission, and got back in and left. And in the meantime, a couple of planes were hit, performing support. And a couple of the C-130s, the big transport planes, were either hit or had to be destroyed by the American troops on the ground because they couldn't take off again. They could land, but sometimes the sand, the nose wheel digs in, and plane's not going anywhere. So instead of leaving it, they blow the things up and they get them out on helicopters. And that's the theory. That's, that one. And what do you believe? I don't know. Again, many years ago, I would have said, don't be stupid. Of course, it was 2 pilots that they had to rescue. It's ridiculous. And it is a little far-fetched that there was an operation that the military carried out. And but who knows? Like, who could absolutely say that aside from the people that were there and the command and control in Washington, consisting of Trump and his war people. So I don't know. I think that would have been a hell of a chance to take to commit troops to a mission where something might have happened to them. But then I guess they would have had to say, yeah. And why not just say, because boots on the ground, right? That escalates it. But if they were killed during a mission, then you would have to say, yeah, we put troops in there and they were killed, and that would probably be 10 times worse. But it didn't work out that way, and now we're stuck with people pumping out some conspiracies. So I don't know. That now brings up the Artemis mission, which, of course, all over social media is another thing full, just rife with conspiratorial thoughts and assumptions, allegations. Are there indeed 4 astronauts as we speak circling around the moon and returning to Earth right now? I say yes. Not just because I'm a fan of the space programs. I like the idea of exploration and science when it comes to space, and the technology that goes into sending people into space has come back to us tenfold in conveniences of how we live our lives and conveniences as to how they can spy on us. But, you take the bad with the good. But I can't. There are just too many spacecraft being launched these days to fake it. Just too many. They talk about the Apollo program and the fact that we never went to the moon and all those people that were involved, the people in NASA, the subcontractors like the people at Grumman that built the lunar module. Every piece of that rocket was built somewhere. NASA didn't build everything. Everything was built at other locations, and they put together this giant ship. And now you got to think, boy, that's a lot of people that have pretty close information, pretty, accurate information as to what's going on. And they don't speak up about anything. They don't say, there's been no deathbed confessions from people in the know about any of this. And that's like the biggest red flag that it's true. Not that it's a conspiracy, that it was fake. That tells me it's true. Too many people would have to keep their mouths shut. And they always come up with, well, it was very compartmentalized. Not many people knew. And the gamble you are taking to send up these rockets and have it not be real, and having had it not been real since the beginning, since the 50s and the early 60s with the Mercury program, and all of it fake. And and to continue it for decade after decade after decade. And not just say, well, we made it. We made it. Let's count our blessings that no one found out. And enough of that. Like Apollo 11 went to the moon. And Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin set foot on the surface of the moon. Mike Collins was in the command module circling the moon, waiting to pick them up again. And then all of this fake, this facade, this lie is pulled off successfully. Somehow they were able to drop a capsule into the Pacific Ocean after the ruse. No foreign powers were able to pick up that the capsule was dropped from a plane or something. Came in from space. And then it splashes down in the ocean and astronauts get out. And then you have a big ticker tape parade for them. Let's say that happened and they pulled it off. Wouldn't you all get into your secret meeting room and go, oh, guys, amazing job. Well done. Amazing. Look, all the newspapers, they all believe it. People are crying with pride in America that they went to the moon. Amazing. What do we do now? What do we do? What should we do? We got to take all this apart, wrap it up, and I'd like to make a suggestion. Oh, certainly. Let's do it 6 more times. What? Why would you do that? Because they believed it. Let's make it seem like we're really awesome and could just do this so many times. But what if we or what if someone notices it's all fake? They won't. 6 more times. Yeah, and I want a car. I want to put a car on the moon so the guys can drive around in it. Car on the moon. 6 more times. It would be preposterous to have gotten away with it once. The logistically, what that takes to fool the planet Earth, by the way. You're not just fooling America. You have to fool some of the greatest adversaries we've ever had during a time when they were our greatest adversary of being our greatest adversary, the 60s and 70s, when the Cold War was heated up. And even the Russians and Chinese who had their own satellites, they could track the vessels to see if they really are going to the moon. And they fooled them too. Everyone on the planet Earth was fooled. So in short, that's why I believe we did indeed go to the moon. And that's why I believe that astronauts are out there right now circling around the moon. Everything I've heard about why they couldn't possibly do it has been disproven. They are capable of going through the Van Halen radiation belts. I know it's Van Halen. The sunspots and solar flares and radiation waves and stuff. They've already figured that out. The way they position the ship blocks a lot of radiation, and then they circle around the moon. It's orbital physics. It's all math. And then you get the real crazy people that say the Earth is flat and that there's a dome over it and nothing could even get into. There is no space. Those people are actually crazy. They don't believe in it, but they don't believe in anything having to do with through our atmosphere, what's out there. And they think the whole thing is a ruse. Like some spaceships they've seen him crash into the firmament, the dome. Yeah, okay, sure. Again, just too many people. And the same thing I talked about with Apollo had to happen with everything. The shuttle, how many shuttle missions were there? And then the Artemis mission. All of Elon Musk's putting up satellites. All of a sudden, I'm using something called Starlink. Not right now, but I have it as a backup. I have the satellite plate on my roof, and then I plugged it in, and I get an internet signal from the satellite. What is that? What happened there? A spaceship went up and put satellites in orbit. I've seen the trails of Starlink satellites when they're first launched. They're very close together. They're in a very low Earth orbit. And you could see them, like 10 of them in a row, 10 dots just going across the sky. What is that? And how come I'm getting internet from something called Starlink? What kind of ruse is that? All those, and now the Artemis mission. You have 4 astronauts going around the moon and coming back. You are now adding another few thousand people that now need to also keep their mouths shut. Doesn't that seem silly? Doesn't that premise seem unbelievably unrealistic? Oh, we keep doing these missions since the 50s. Ba 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 bang a dang dang a ding a dong ding ding bloop bloop bloop. Since the 50s, and they just keep going. Nope, let it ride, keep going. Well, they believed that one. Don't care, let it ride. I'm going all in. Keep going. You don't think one time the dealer would have gotten blackjack? One time you would have crapped out? One time your pocket aces get busted? Let it ride. Keep going. Keep going. Put it all on red. One time black comes up. How many chances have they taken since the 50s that may have exposed that this whole thing is fake? Really think about that. And then you tell me how it's all fake and give me more than just the shadows and the curvature of the earth, because they're using so many different lenses, fisheye lens, shorter focal plane, wide angle. They make different, it looks different. You can take a picture of someone right now in my yard with the woods behind them. And depending on the lens, you can make it look like they're standing right at the wood line. And then they're in the same place with a different lens. It looks like the woods are a mile behind them. There's different lenses. That's what happens. There's no stars. Yeah, that's right. I could go out right now and I won't see any stars. Well, it's different. There's an atmosphere. The moon doesn't have an atmosphere. There shouldn't be. Yeah. How about light? How about the fact that the moon is like a reflector? That's why it gets so bright. A full moon is so bright, because the sun reflecting off of that silvery gray color reflects unbelievably. And it's so bright down there when you're on that you're not going to see stars. And if you can see them, it's going to be very difficult to photograph them. How about that? But I don't want to get into a whole show of dispelling the "we never went to the moon" thing. I think I made my point. They sent some video or some live. You could live stream them, whatever it is. But here is Yup. Where is it? Artemis. So, if you enjoyed that clip,
Then subscribe to Compound Censored using this promo code.